Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, our session is going to start in few minutes. Please click the link on the top of the chat room to sign in. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly reminder, our session is going to start in few minutes. Please click the link on the top of the chat room for sign in. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, our session is going to start in few minutes. Please click the link on the top of the chat room for sign in. Thank you very much. that you haven't signed in, so please click the link on the top of the chat room for sign in. Thank you. Good morning, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Our session is going to start in few minutes. Please click the link on the top of the chat room for sign in. Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Our session is going to start in few minutes. Please click the link on the top of the chat room for sign in. Thank you. And by the way, our webinar will be started at 9:30. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to 2022 CJCU Webinar. My name is Jane, and our topic today is internationalization in higher education. First of all, we would like to say thank you for representing here today. Wish you have a nice day, and may our meeting a great success. As a kindly reminder, please don't forget to click the link on the top of the chat room for sign-in. Also, it's always welcome to leave comments in the chat room during the whole session. The COVID-19 pandemic has created an experience that is unlikely to be forgotten. However, it also forced us to rethink our strategies. In this webinar, we focus on Asia and invited partners from the Philippines, Japan, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Vietnam to come and share. Now, please let me introduce our distinguished guest today. Please welcome Chang Cheng Christian University President, Dr. Yong Nong Lee.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the president of CJCU. I'm honored to have you all at the 2022 CJCU Webinar. Today is also a special day for teachers. I would like to say Happy Teachers' Day to all the participants too. Internationalization is a key aspect of higher education. However, we are greatly affected by the COVID-19 during these 2 years. It makes everyone rethink and discuss the educational goals and internationalization strategies of the post-pandemic era. It is an urgent issue for us in higher education. On behalf of faculties and students of CJCU, please allow me to give you a warm welcome. Now, I would like to introduce you to our fabulous campus. Please enjoy the video.
Dear esteemed guests, I'm honored to have you all here today to consider the educational goals and internationalization strategies of the post-pandemic era, which is an urgent issue for us in the higher education. On behalf of the faculty and students of Chang Cheng Christian University, CJCU, please allow me to give you a warm welcome. I would like to begin with the CJCU experience and give a brief response to today's topic. I hope that we will have a productive exchange during the discussion session soon to follow. Chang Cheng Christian University is a school of vision. We are a useful and dynamic Christian school established for 29 years. As the Bible says, that no one despise the youth, but be thou an example of the believers in word, in conversation, in charity, in spirit, in faith, in purity. CJCU is also a young school with a great mission. Our mission comes from the Christian spirit of loving God, loving people, treasuring resources, and initiating actions. This mission has led to our extraordinary vision and embodied a commitment to social responsibility and sustainable leadership. I'd like to share a few students' stories that illustrate how the school's vision is being realized. This year, 2 of our IPSD students from Tanzania, Barnaba and Nixon, went to Antarctica for the first time with the Climate Change Action Team. We worked with students to raise funds and eventually realize our collective dream. Apart from Barnaba and Nixon, Benica and Cindy returned to Tanzania this year as interns to participate in the International Care Program to promote gender equality. And there's Nathan, who returned to Tanzania after graduation as a USR program lecturer from CJCU to advocate for water quality protection. In addition, 6 IPSD students received scholarship from the Ministry of Education to continue further studies in Taiwan. These stories are a testament to the school's youth passion and commitment. Prior to CJCU's founding, it was a land of food cultivation here, and today we also nourish dreamers and practitioners of society. After 8 years of collaboration with Dr. Jane Goodall since 2014 to develop the Eco Center and the subsequent International College of Practice and Education for the Environment, our students have been trained to be practitioners of ecological sustainability and social responsibility. CJCU extends its influence to the world through the actions of its students. The IPSD's establishment and social responsibility implementation was not aimed to keep up with world trend, but rather originate from the school's core beliefs, visions, and commitment to environmental sustainability and social responsibility. However, these visions are all still aligned with the 17 action plans for the United Nations 2013 Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. We are pleased to see the school sync with the world. The SDGs Action Plan describes the issues that the world's future bright minds will need to focus on. According to the OECD, the future workforce will emphasize cognitive and metacognitive skills, social and emotional skills, and practical and physical skills. Our education precisely provides a professional development and practice arena that nourishes students' vision of the world and solves social problems through professionalism. CJCU has been involved in community for 13 years, since 2009. In 2017, we began combining university social responsibility as a core concept with courses introducing local issues to students. To date, we have 4 USR-themed programs and partnership with 4 significant communities. In addition to adequate funding from the Ministry of Education, we were awarded first prize in the 2020 University Social Responsibility Ecology-Friendly category by Global View monthly magazine. In recent years, the school has successfully established the International Jane Goodall Roots and Shoots Eco Center, dedicated to environmental sustainability. The UNES Social Business Center, committed to social enterprise, and the international program IPSD to strengthen international exchanges and mobility within the school. This year, we further established our Net Zero office to expand our social responsibility vision into sustainable development. The school implements professional development, builds practice arena, and link resources to provide students with a local international setting to connect with worldwide issues on campus. I would also like to share some exciting news with our partner universities. Changchun Christian University was ranked in the 601st to 800 range in the 2022 Times Higher Education World University Rankings for Impacts, and in the 801st to 1000 range in the 2023 QS World University Rankings. Since 2019, CJCU has been frequently awarded both domestic and international awards and merit ratings. I think the focus is not on these trophies, but the meaning and the value behind them. The awards affirm that we are a university making steady progress and possessing integrity. It also demonstrates the unique public value of the university. Recently, CJCU has been actively pursuing international awards to increase its reputation and enhance its social impact for more international collaboration possibilities. We hope that the university's mission can be more effectively implemented through increased recognition and international cooperation, and that the university's public value can be accelerate the transformation of society. In addition to the continuous progress of the university, the international awards received by the departments within the university are also quite impressive. Mr. Lin Jianping, a faculty member of the Department of Mass Communication, received the Silver Line First Prize at the Venice International Film Festival in Italy in 2005 and was selected for the Cannes Film Festival in France in 2022. In 2019, Li Manhua, a student in the Cultural and Creative Students Program, had her work about Jade Mountain selected for the 11th International Glass Sculptures and Garden Exhibition in Münster, Germany. Faculty of students from the Department of Fine Arts and a cultural team from Singapore worked together to curate an international art exhibition at Tainan Art Museum. Faculty and students of the Department of Fine Arts were invited to participate in the Asian Thematic Art Exhibition in Korea. Faculty of students from the Department of Digital Media Design received international certificates and won 6 awards in the Digital Media Animation category at the 2022 Autodesk Creative Design Competition. Once again, CJCU proves to be a cradle where dreamers nurture. As a young and energetic university, we responded to the pandemic with resilience. We are learning together with the world, breaking down geographical constraints, keeping international learning uninterrupted, and proactively viewing adversity as an opportunity. During the pandemic, we introduced different hardware and software devices, experimented with various teaching and learning possibilities, and collaborated with our partner universities on a variety of distance and cross-domain online courses. This has led us to consider further how the meaning and learning has changed different technological intervention. The online courses have shown us that the hybrid construction of learning environment is another possibility for expanding learning experiences. Technology not only helps us overcome the difficulties of being unable to physically attend classes, but also let us think about how to create exploratory learning contexts using technology in response to the development of diverse capabilities. In the post-pandemic era, connotations of internationalization and education are sure to change considerably. I would like to thank all of you once more for coming together at such a difficult time to reflect on the future of education. Also, I humbly invite you to participate in the Partner School President's Forum organized by CJCU next year, as it will be the 30th anniversary of the founding of CJCU next year. The time is right to organize this forum to discuss the future of higher education. Having implemented social responsibility and expanded social influence. CJCU considers how to deepen the concept of sustainability, nurture future bright minds, and translate our social responsibility experience into a brand story for local marketing to create a sustainable life of diversity and co-prosperity. CJCU will continue to develop a bright and sustainable future together with our partner schools through our enthusiasm and vitality. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Lee, for the opening remarks. So right now, I would like to introduce the distinguished guests of the webinar. First of all, let me introduce the keynote speaker, Father Roberto Sia, the president of Ateneo de Manila University, Philippines. Dr. Pei Chi Wu, Vice President, Changchun Christian University. She will be the webinar moderator. Please welcome. Then I would like to introduce the panelists. Dr. Tamara Swenson, Director of Center for International Affairs, Osaka Chokakuin University, Japan. Dr. Iman Harimawan, Director of Erlangga Global Engagement, Universitas Erlangga, Indonesia. Dr. Wong Sin Sing, Director of Center for International Relations, University of Technology Sarawak, Malaysia. And Dr. Dang Chung Kien, Director of Logistics and E-Commerce Center, Thái Nguyên University of Economics and Business Administration, Vietnam. Due to some personal reasons, Dean of OGE CJCU and representative of Cuba, Vietnam can join us today. We do hope that we'll have another chance in the near future. Thank you for being here today. And right now, it is with pleasure that I introduce to you Father Roberto Sia, the president of Ateneo de Manila University, to have today's keynote speech on the topic of higher education's response to the pandemic. Please welcome.
Very pleasant morning to all. I am Father Roberto Yap from the Philippines, Ateneo de Manila University. I am very pleased to participate in this webinar on internationalization in higher education. We have the two universities, Ateneo de Manila and Changchun Christian University, CJCU, have a very healthy partnership together. We work together through the Association of Christian Universities and Colleges in Asia, or ACUCA, and then recently we formalized a bilateral relationship. I am very pleased to say that Ateneo de Manila is very privileged to be able to partner with CJCU. I think we share very much the concern of CJCU for university social responsibility and its commitment to promoting sustainable development and sustainability. And I hope that this partnership will grow and flourish in the coming years. I have three key messages that I would like to give in this short talk that I want to give right now about internationalization, higher education during the time of the pandemic. The first message is that, like all the other higher education institutions in the world, the impact of COVID-19 called for a re-envisioning of effective learning delivery systems. So I think we always knew that digital was coming, that it had a real possibility to change the way that we deliver our education. But I think the COVID-19 pandemic forced all of us to leapfrog, to move faster in this effort to really apply digitalization to how we deliver the education to our students. So I think the pandemic forced us in some way to really move faster, to really deliver our learning and teaching and research through digital online means. And in this effort, we tried to make sure that there was learning continuity, that the learning continues and does not stop even when we were under lockdown or we could not go back to in-person, face-to-face classes for both our local and international stakeholders. The second point that I will try to show in my examples from the Philippines is that this also forced us actually to reimagine how we will conduct internationalization when we had to go virtual, when we could not bring in students to physically come to our campuses or send students to other places in the world. So virtual opportunities were there, and we were able to really try to continue and reimagine how we can do global learning, intercultural collaboration, even during the pandemic. My third point is that we are already moving back. I think all of us are moving back to sort of the next normal, the next possible. And we realize that, yes, we are able to bring back the students and resume most of the face-to-face exchanges that we have for internationalization. But we realize that there are also really benefits of using the digital technology that has been made available and that we have learned to use during the pandemic. And we hope to be able to still use the virtual international opportunities available, and in some sense what we have called in Ateneo de Manila as internationalization at home, that this is now another option that we have to pursue the delivery of global education. So my friends, these are the 3 points that I will try to show in my short presentation. I will talk about the Philippine experience, the impact of COVID-19 on higher education institutions. I think many of you, if you do not know, we had a very long lockdown. We were not allowed to resume face-to-face classes and bring back our students on campus. We were online for really almost 2 academic years, and it took a while before we were able to come back. And it is really only this semester, in academic year 2022-2023, that we are starting to bring back our students on campus. So during the pandemic, the past 2 years or so, 2 school years, 2 academic years, we were really guided and we were told that we had to be on lockdown and we had to conduct what was called flexible learning as a concept, that instead of face-to-face in-person classes, we would have to use online technology. And the Commission for Higher Education sort of mandated and helped us to implement what they call flexible learning. The guidelines were to inform about the modalities of flexible learning: online, blended, on-site. And if at on-site, it's really just delivering printed course packages to those who have poor connectivity. Online, of course, we had learning management systems to conduct classes, access to electronic library, and deliver the programs depending on the connectivity. And here is a chart by which different universities in the Philippines tried to deliver this flexible learning. High-level technology, if there was high-level technology, there were devices available, connectivity was fast, and therefore you could do online learning. And the teachers and the students were proficient. They had high digital literacy. Then you had medium-level technology, mostly available were just really smartphones. Internet was slow, so this was a mixture of both online and offline activities. They would have what we call synchronous classes. They can go together in the internet together at the same time, and there was coursework uploaded, and they could do it offline at their own time, at their own speed. And of course, there are parts of the country where there were really low-level technology. So what was done was just really print course modules, print hard copies, and send them out to the students, and the students accomplish the exercises that were needed there, the evaluation, examinations, etc., and be able to come back. And so there were really different modes of adaptation. And likewise, of course, we had to develop very quickly the capacity of faculty, staff, administrators for these multiple modes. For Ateneo de Manila itself, the particular university, and in particular for internationalization, in the beginning, in the early months of the pandemic, our top priority was really the students' well-being. When the pandemic began in early 2020, we had international exchange students in our campus, and they were recalled back, so we really tried to help them return to their country as quickly as possible, and really try to help them in their return to their countries. And even the local students who were also abroad, we tried to bring them back home safely to Manila, even when transportation was difficult. And there were many quarantine rules and at the early stages of the pandemic. And then, of course, we started to build operational strategies. I mean, communication was very important. At the early time, vaccination was not yet available, so we tried to monitor and track the COVID cases, and we certainly tried to provide logistical support for our international students that they could really go back safely to their home countries. Then, of course, we went purely virtual, purely online from 2020 to the mid-2022. As I tried to explain, we were not allowed by government to come back to face-to-face classes. So we really had to shift to online modality. And even then, we tried to make sure that we could still continue our internationalization program, our exchange programs for internationalization. And somehow we were able to still get some students, some foreign students, to attend our online courses. We made it available to them that they could attend the courses we were offering also online. So we had some international students who actually took online courses, as all the other students were also taking online courses. And we have those numbers there that we had. Then we realized that we could use, they did not have to physically come to the country, to the Philippines, to Manila. So we gave virtual special programs where we had special programs, for example, in terms of language training, lectures and workshops, webinars from our Ateneo faculty on different sort of topics. And we even organized virtual campus tours so that they could actually see the facilities of Ateneo if they were here. So we tried as much as possible to still offer international programs, still have exchange students, still have international students, even virtually during a very difficult time. Then, of course, there were still opportunities for faculty, administrators, and staff. We participated in what was organized by the European Union, what we call the Collaborative Online International Learning. It was training of how we can incorporate international learning into the university, into our calendar, into our curriculum, and to try to how to really find internationalization, even virtually, when it was not possible to be physically present in our campuses. And our participation, another EU program, Antenna, for ICT and strategic planning workshops on virtual capacity building opportunities to really help to see how we can continue internationalization even during the pandemic. Then this school year, as we said, we have now started to come back. Our students have come back now what we call to blended learning, it is still not fully on-site, and some classes are done off-site, and we are happy to say that our international exchange program has come back this school year, fall of 2022. We have a good number of students, undergraduate students, graduate students from Austria, France and Germany, Japan, Netherlands, Spain, South Africa, and the United Kingdom have already started to also come back for one semester of staying with us and studying with us. So we're very happy about this, that even if we're still trying to go back to full on-site learning, we already have this international exchange. And of course, we are preparing our students for the next year. For spring 2023, we will resume our sending back our junior term abroad process, by which our own students, our Filipino students, will visit other foreign universities for their junior term abroad. Of course, we are resuming our on-site special programs. Also in spring 2023, we will host at least 5 partner universities for language training, cultural engagement, and immersion programs in the different local communities that we do social service and social involvement, similar to what CJCU has done for their own local communities. And we expect also that we will continue the virtual modality. One of the key messages I have is that we have discovered that we can do internationalization using digital and virtual means, and there can be good student interaction. So we hope to even continue that and even expand the access where, like for example, we have with other Jesuit universities all over the world, we are conducting a global citizenship course, which we have a common curriculum where we can study it on-site with our own students, but then at some point, we will link up with other students from other universities all over the world who also have studied the same material on global citizenship. And we hope to welcome back visiting faculty and guests, including Erasmus plus faculty and staff on the resumption of on-site work. Of course, we are adjusting to the new normal. We are more aware of COVID-19 protocols and how to travel to Manila and what happens to try to make sure that people are safe, or that if they get infected, how do we deal with it. I think vaccination has helped a lot. And then we will also, of course, continue the enrichment of our virtual programs. So let me end there. I hope I've given us a picture of our work in the Philippines for internationalization in higher education. Again, my first key message is that clearly COVID-19 forced us to reimagine, re-envision how do we deliver our educational services, our learning delivery. And we have to move very fast because we were forced to, but we realized that it is possible and we can deliver online programs very quickly and ensure learning continuity, not only for our local students, but even for international students who wish to spend some time with us here in Ateneo de Manila. The second key message that I have is that we have reimagined internationalization. We realized that the past 2 years when we were on lockdown, that we could still continue, although slow and not so many, but there are virtual opportunities possible to conduct internationalization through online and digital means to ensure global learning, intercultural collaboration. And the third point that I have is that we will not say we will shelve all our virtual learning opportunities, but we see that we will continue the virtual international opportunities, and we realize that we will be able to increase access, in fact, through digital and virtual means to interact with other students all over the world. As I mentioned, we are pursuing this global citizenship course with other students in other universities, and in fact, we will be able to touch and reach more people because of the online means, and it is a more efficient way in some way to bring people together in an easier way and cost-effective way of bringing people together to be able to study, for example, global citizenship and sustainability. So again, I'd like to thank this opportunity and the privilege to be able to share our experience for internationalization of higher education during this time of pandemic. Thank you very much and good morning to you all.
Thank you, Father Roberto Sia. Following will be the featured speech session. We are going to invite our panelists to give their speeches based on the same topic, internationalization strategy in the era of global pandemic. Right after the four speeches will be the panel discussion. If you have any questions, we would like to invite you to type those in the chat room. We will keep track of them. All the questions will be discussed at the panel discussion so that we can have a more integrated conversation among everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now continuing our meeting to next agenda. As our moderator will take charge in this session, please give a big applause to Dr. Pei Chi Wu, the Vice President of CJCU. Please welcome.
Oh, thank you for the introduction. Thank you for Father Roberto Yap's wonderful speech. I have been to Athena University for the UV Fellowship Program. I remember the wonderful campus and also a very beautiful chapel. I love there. So I am looking forward to come back very soon. And I actually have few questions. Probably we will leave my question in the end of our final panel discussion section. Is that okay? Father Roberto, yeah, okay. This is my great honor to join this section as a moderator. I'm deeply impressed after listening to Dr. Roberto's words. During this year, CJCU might challenge as many as you. However, this challenge expanding our horizon and gaining even more relevance in the pandemic. As told by Dr. Roberto, in this section, we will touch more diverse aspect on the same topic, internationalization strategy in the era of global pandemic. Stay with us and find our more creative idea to meet the situation. I would like to gently reminding every panelist have 50 to 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, please allow me to interrupt you and transfer to the talk to our next speakers. Firstly, let me introduce the first speaker of this section, Dr. Tamara Swanson, Director of Center for International Affairs, Osaka Gakuin University, to giving her speech. Let's welcome Dr. Swanson.
Thank you very much, Dr. Peche. It's very, very nice to be asked to join this very interesting, distinguished panel. I'm looking forward to hearing what everyone has to say about internationalization during the pandemic and post-pandemic plans. And I have a short presentation about what we did when we had to pivot to online education and online international programs at Osaka Gakuin University in Osaka, Japan. And Osaka Gakuin is a very small private women's Christian university with a basic mission to raise up women who will search for truth and find a way to bring their own leadership skills to the world. And we've been, I think, very successful in that through our educational programs, resting them on three basic pillars. The first pillar is Christianity, the second pillar is human rights education, and the third pillar is English language education. And as Director of International Programs at Osaka Gakuin, I've been very lucky. I was able to visit CJCU before the pandemic, and I'm very happy to see the people there again. It's so nice to meet you again online, but I'm really looking forward to when we are reopening the world to our international travel, because one thing I think we've learned is that internationalization we'll wait for the bell because we have classes here. It's pretty standard bell time at most universities. Here's ours. So I knew this was going to interfere. It's okay. So at Osaka Jogakuin, we've been able to create an environment where our students still get to experience international programs, even if we are doing it from here in Osaka. So let me go ahead and start my sharing the slides that I have planned for us for today. That would be here. Okay, so I hope everybody can see that. So I'm going to be talking about how international programs we need to consider the post-pandemic tours and online options as part of our package for international programs in order to strengthen our students' understandings of internationalization, globalization, and as both Dr. Lee and Father Roberto were pointing out, to increase our students' understanding of how to help create and build a better world. And so in Japan, we went into a sort of semi-lockdown in February where the government recommended we cancel events and stay home. But in April, we went into a full university lockdown and moved to online classes. And in Japan, there was never a complete lockdown, unlike in a lot of countries where everyone was told to stay home. In Japan, it was after an initial period, schools were allowed to reopen. Our Associated High School had students back on campus from June of 2020, and in fall term of 2020, we welcomed our students back to in-person classes. And these were all very socially distanced in-person classes, but they were in person from the fall term. And that was done for a variety of different reasons at Osaka Jogakuin, but being a small school, we could easily manage the procedures for social distancing that the government was recommending. Other larger universities stayed fully online for up to 2 years of the universities, and some of the universities have just started their online, just started their in-person education this last term. And so it's been a very different response in Japan than it was in other countries. But what did happen, which affected me directly as Director of International Programs, is that we had to cancel all of our study abroad programs, help our semester abroad students who were at universities in other countries negotiate their lockdown situations and get them back into Japan, and help our students who were international students who were either in Japan or in their home country when the closed period of education began. We had students who were from Malaysia and Vietnam and the Philippines who were in those countries when we went into the initial government closing the country to visitors, and so they had difficulty getting back into the country, and we had to find ways to help them re-enter. And some of them stayed in online education through fall term of 2020, and so we had some classes where students were mostly in person, but 1 or 2 were overseas still. By spring of 2021, everyone was back in classes here because of changes in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs rules about reentry and who could come back into the country. And I think that There were a lot of problems in our responses, and I think we all found that. We were scrambling a lot of the time to help our students. But in the end, I think we all did a very, very good job of preparing them, helping them, moving them forward in their education. One of the things we also found that we had to do was to establish online programs with related schools. And part of the problem we had was that none of our courses allowed for an online option for a 4-credit program. And so when we looked at all of the course agreements, we had nothing we could offer students for an online program that would allow them to take a course for credit. And so when we started looking at options to in-person programs, either sending students overseas or having short-term programs at other locations in Japan, which we could not do during the lockdown. Japan never had a lockdown, a please stay home request. During the please stay home request periods, that we had to find ways to set up 4-credit programs. And this involved, of course, the International Affairs Committee, but also the Education Committee, the Curriculum Committee, the Administrative Committee, and of course the faculty. And so there are a lot of layers that had to go through to approve 4-credit classes that were not always set up to work efficiently when time is a factor. Because at most universities, I think worldwide, we work in a situation where plans are set out a couple of years in advance and they move rather slowly. The pandemic did teach us all, I think, the importance of moving quickly so that we could do things to help our students. And one of the things that we were able to do early on was get a approval for a one time, and it did turn into multiple times, but a program with Birzeit University, which is in Palestine, and we did an online program with Birzeit and Jogakuen, and this was the first program that we did with one of our international partners. And Birzeit is a school we have never sent students to because being in Palestine, we always considered it a little bit dangerous for students to go, and the safety concerns were always an issue for us. However, we decided that this was a perfect opportunity for us to get this program set up, and one of our professors, Professor Takahashi, was able to use his connections in Palestine to help create opportunities for our students and their students to have online discussions, to have an online class together where they did a cultural exchange. And you can see here the poster in Japanese that we used to recruit students at Osaka Jogakuen to participate in the program. It was very successful. One of the things that the students commented on, especially, was that it really helped them to understand a different region of the world than that they had never been to before. And the students who participated were from, of course, Japan, but also Korea, Philippines, Sri Lanka, Nepal. And so all of our international students on campus were also really pleased with the program because usually they don't participate in overseas study opportunities because they're already on one in Japan. And so for them, they said it was just fantastic because they felt they were fully part of the entire learning process at Jogakuen. And so here's some information from Birzeit University's English brochure. You can find information about the university online, but it was, I think, an eye-opening experience, not just for students, but also for the faculty on how to set up a successful international program. And I think the lessons we got from this one, we then translated into a number of other programs, including a program with CJCU this spring that went very well. And some of the feedback that we got from students was working in the different forms, feeling nervous, feeling positive about it. I feel like I've visited Palestine. Students, even now, we're more than a year and a half, almost 2 years from when the program was, they're still in contact with each other. Students are still posting videos. They're using other formats to get hold of each other. It was overwhelmingly positive. But we did have issues with the entire program. Of course, communications. Direct, synchronous communications do not always work. And especially when you're dealing with an area of the world where they do have power outages, doing everything online synchronously was really not an option. So we had to find ways for asynchronous communication between students in disparate countries. We found we needed to increase our pre-program activities to prepare students, and we decided we needed to revise the basic plan, the basic schedule of how many days the event actually took place live versus taking place over asynchronous communication. And see, these are, I think, the 4 main lessons that we have as advice for everyone. So, limited bandwidth applications. Having something that's a huge bandwidth user is wonderful if you are in a developed area of the world. It's of less use when you are not. And this includes less developed areas within a country. We had students who are from more rural areas of Japan who had problems with connecting to the internet because of connections in their home communities. Once they were back on campus, that was less of an issue, but when they were off campus or in their home areas, it was sometimes a problem. Employ multiple platforms. Different applications we found were better in different regions of the world. So with all of our students are online most of the time. That's their major SNS. But students in our West Asian, African programs, no. They needed WhatsApp. Flipgrid was a very useful application for us for sharing of videos between students that also allows for privacy. Unlike, YouTube is great, but YouTube privacy controls can be broken a little bit more easily than Flipgrid's. Pre-recorded lectures and preparation. Being prepared in case something happens. One of the lessons we had also was that they wanted to do more. They wanted to do more in the programs. And so in 2022, we increased the amount of contact for the students in the program for the same university. We found that not only did the students come out more satisfied, they came out with a better understanding, of course, of either Palestine or Japan, depending on what country they were working from. So you can see here, again, the poster for recruiting in 2020 for the 2022 program, as well as the types of activities and the hours of class time in those activities that students had. But it was a challenge when you had learners from multiple regions. We also had a program with the Arab Women's Organization, and it is based in Egypt, in Cairo. However, participants from that program lived in 10 different countries around the, from Lebanon, Syria, over to Libya and Morocco. So all around the Mediterranean, we had students with different internet needs. But again, through really, I think, really effective planning by Dr. Hakone, who is in charge of this particular program. excuse me, not Dr. Dr. Hikawa. Dr. Hikawa, who is in charge of this particular program, it went really, really well. She was able to set up a program that really helped students understand the gender issues that women in Japan and Arab countries face. And it was, I think, a very dynamic set of classes that drew students in. One of the things that we've included in that were issues with more video. You can see that I did a lecture on media framing to help students understand how media is framed, and we had this recorded and uploaded to a YouTube video so that students could watch it on their own and then be able to talk about it in their discussion groups, either through instant messaging, SNS, or Flipgrid. We also found ways to allow for serendipity to come into the program, and you can see here a picture of a cheesecake shop in Palestine, in Berzit area, called Uncle Osaka. And so all of the students who were in Palestine at the time for that program made a trek over to see what they were selling at the Uncle Osaka shop. Finding these places within your country where students can go and experience that community without being there was very important. Some of our students visited restaurants in the Osaka area that serve various dishes from the Middle East, whether it was from Lebanon, there's a Lebanese restaurant not too far, or Turkey. There were no Palestinian restaurants per se here, but they did find a way to really expand their understanding of the world, both the superficial culture as well as the deep culture. Prepare and provide the tools for success is the lesson we've taken going forward. To prepare our students for success, and then they will be successful with online programs. Here's our program for the International Cultural Exchange that we had, English Cultural Exchange that we had with CJCU this year in February, which I think went very, very well. We had pre-program activities, not pre-departure, that students at both universities participated in, as well as all of the joint sessions, and students came out very happy from that in the comments that I had from the university students and college students who participated. And so looking forward, what does this tell us about study abroad programs? Okay, study abroad programs, provide an experience that cannot be fully duplicated with online. We know this, okay? But online programs provide opportunities to interact when travel isn't possible. And I would have never thought that this was something we could do in 2019. At that point, it was like, yeah, we got to get more students to go overseas, to meet students there, to participate, to make friends, so that they'll be able to understand the world more deeply. I think what we've all taken going forward is that study abroad programs are going to be a mix of in-person study abroad and online study abroad. The online options give us a lot of benefits that we can't get when we send students. We have access to distant partners that we might not otherwise be able to work with or send students to. Maybe only the faculty members would be able to attend programs there. We have much lower costs, and I think that this is extremely important for our students. Participating in an online program is basically a transfer of your on-site resources, and the costs for participation are extremely low or non-existent. And you give wider options for internationalization. Students from other countries who are within your country who might not, because of visa issues, be allowed to go overseas to a third country are able to participate in programs that are international, but still within the confines of their visa. So I think that as we all look forward, we're all going to find ways to be more closely connected, both online and in person. But I really am looking forward to seeing you all again in person. Thank you. Now let me get my mouse back.
Thank you, Dr. Swenson. So wonderful speech. I'm looking forward to see you in CJCU again very soon. And I'm quite impressed about those study abroad program, and very creative by using different channels. Still, we can connect to the world. Okay, thank you again. Next, we would like to invite Dr. Iman Harimawan, the Director of Erlangen Global Engagement, University Erlangen, that's sharing his experience. Let's welcome Dr. Iman Harimawan.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Just want to check, am I audible in your side? Can you hear my, okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for having me today. Thank you for Dr. Swenson for the inspiring sharing. Let me share about the experience of Universitas Erlangga on how to deal with the pandemic. Yeah. Okay, first of all, I would like to thanks for having me today. I'm happy to be invited because I have a memory with Tainan, because I got my master degree from National Cheng Kung University from Taiwan. Yeah, so it's a pleasure to be here today. My name is Iman Harimawan, as the Director for Global Engagement Office at Erlangga University. Yeah. Let me share a little bit about the contents that I'm going to cover for today's speaking. The first one, I would like to share a brief about Universitas Erlangga, the vision and mission, and our position, what is our main strategies. Basically, this is our main strategies is derive the performance that we had so far, and also we would like to share what are our objectives. And while I'm explaining this one, I will also try to explain about the how it's fit with the current situations. And I also would like to share about the types of collaboration that we can have. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So our vision is to become the independent, innovative, and leading university at national and international level. So we, in order to achieve that one, we do 4 things. The first one, developing academic and professional and vocational educations, and we develop the policy research to support the industry and also the government, and we devote our expertise to the society, and we are trying to increase the quality of our internal management by implementing the good governance. Yeah, this is to assure that our value is delivered to all of our stakeholders. Yeah, we have 15 faculties and 2 schools. We have 174 study programs, and we have 6 campuses, and we divide into 4 streams: health science, life sciences, engineering, social science, and school and vocational educations. And our student bodies is about 44,000, and we have about 2,000 teaching staff. In terms of internationalization, we do have international undergraduate programs and also double degree program. This is related to the degree programs, and we provide scholarship from the university level. We provide Erlangga Development Scholarship, mainly for postgraduate students, master and PhD programs. And Indonesian government also provide the KNB scholarship and also Dharma Siswa to invite overseas students to come to Indonesia. And for non-degree programs, we have Amarta, Academic Mobility Exchange for undergraduate at Erlangga, Lingua, Learning Indonesia Language at Universitas Erlangga, and several activities such as the short and summer programs and also the joint class. Yeah, this is our position today. We ranked 369 in the QS ranking, and we rank in the 110 in Asia and 19 in Southeast Asia. And in terms of graduate employability, we belongs to group 301 until 500. And also for other rankings, we are trying to increase our level in the WUR, or World University Ranking, and also Times Higher Education Impact Ranking. Yeah, we focus on SDG activities at the moment. Yeah, and we are trying to incorporate most of SDG issues in most of our activities at Universitas Erlangga. Yeah, this is the main strategies. Our objective is to maximizing value to stakeholders by creating significant impact in local and national and global levels. And by achieving that one, we are trying to optimizing latest technology in business process. And we are, as our rector direct us to have a 5 principle. The first one is sustainable education for all. Second one is meaningful research and community services, advancing innovation and the pricing and industry linkage, responsive and lean management, and last one, topping up resources utilization, so we can call it SMART principle. And this is about the university policy for the global partnership based on the SMART principles. We are trying to highlight 5 points. The first one is SDG goals focus activities. Yeah, it's not only related to research, but the management side and also the academic side, and as well as the community services. And the second one, meaningful research that lead to impactful publication, innovation, research product with commercialization potential. We have several teaching industries as well at the university. We have also teaching hospital. And the third one, creating more meaningful impact of community services. Fourth one, extensive industrial linkage. This is in line with the focus of our ministry now. So the Ministry of Education of Indonesia encourage us and also giving a set of target for each university to have a certain level with the industry. In order to build the relationship with the industry. So we are aiming to increase our collaboration with industry as well. And the last one is academic mobility programs. Yeah, this is very challenging during the COVID-19 period. And this is our structure. Basically, we have 5 departments under the Global Engagement Office, research initiative and collaborations, partnership and consortium, mobility program, international services, and grants and promotions. Lately we focus on international grants because we think that by joining the international grants, we will increase the visibility of our university as well. Therefore, we increase our focus on how we encourage our staff to be involved in international grants application with many universities around the world. Yeah, in terms of the objective for Erlangga Global Engagement, we set 4 objectives. The first one is related to university branding, which I will explain later about the detail. And second one is academic visibility. Yeah, and the third one is research visibility in the international level. And the fourth one is the quality of services by implementing the digitalization. Yeah, for the first objective, international university branding, we have several initiatives and key results by we join several activities with international consortium, such as Asian University Network, Asia Uninet, Western Australia, East Java University Consortium, Satu Presiden, and many others consortium. And we also initiate one consortium, what we call World University Association for Community Development, which is focused mainly in community development around the world. And we actively attending international education exhibition such as APAYE, NAFSA, AIA, and many others. And one of our latest strategy is to build a strong relationship with the Embassy of Indonesia around the world. Yeah, this is one of, up to now we feel that this is a very effective strategy. We can collaborate with many embassy in Indonesia, embassy in Indonesia in around the world. Yeah, and this is an example of the consortium that we joined, and yeah, this is the WUACD, the Community Development Consortium, which is initiated by Erlangga, and this help us on increasing the exchange staff and students activities during the COVID-19, because we actively invite our member of the consortium and also our partners to share about their initiative, and also to collaborate to implement new initiative in order to support the global mobility during the pandemic. Yeah, as we know, we have as we have heard from Professor Yap, that we need to reimagine the new look of the student mobility activities during the COVID-19. That's why we have a lot of online activities. But the challenge is how to increase the quality of the online activities, because everyone will have more flexibility, but we need to aim, we need to get the best achievement, even though we are doing it online. Yeah, this is several example of the international education exhibition that we attended, APAYE 2022 and also NAFSA 2022. This is the example activities of dialogue with the Indonesian embassies, with in Holland and in many other countries as well. Yeah. We also create one communication channel with our faculties in Universitas Erlangga by assigning a what we call faculty ambassador. This is faculty ambassador is basically the one who is responsible for technical things, not strategic things, but the technical things on the internationalization in the faculty level. So we have a quite intensive discussion with them, and also we create international hubs with several countries. We provide spaces for them to create hubs at Universitas Erlangga, and also we create hubs overseas as well. Yeah, we have American Corner, Taiwan Education Center in Surabaya, Aussie Banget Corner, Pakistan Reading Corner, and we do have a Center for Indonesian Studies in Taiwan, and also Indonesian Corner in Thailand. Yeah, for the mobility activities, yeah, we have student mobility program which offer a semester exchange, like I've mentioned about Amarta, and also the several short-term programs, and we do actively trying to find partner from Erasmus, and also Erasmus Project and New Colombo Plan in Australia, and now we are trying to find a partner from Turing from United Kingdom. And also we encourage our lecturers to have a mobility activities around the world, and also not only in person but also online. So we encourage collaborative learning, collaborative online international learning, what we call COIL. Yeah, and these strategies become our main focus during the pandemic. And also, we need to collaborate with the students because they are a very important part in our university. So we work with international and also the local students to increase the internationalization of the Universitas Airlangga. Yeah, this is some example of the short-term programs. We initiate this one before the pandemic, but we still running this program during the pandemic in online mode. Yeah, we have Indonesian diversity at Airlangga, Indonesian heritage, Airlangga adventures, summer in Surabaya and Bali, and also we host several tailor-made programs at Universitas Airlangga. Yeah, we work with several universities through Erasmus project, and yeah, we have several online activities as well during the pandemic. Yeah, and this is another strategy to increase the internationalization. We create international undergraduate programs, and also we provide scholarship for the students. Yeah, for the research feasibility, as I've mentioned before, we believe that by engaging with other partners in applying the international grants, it will increase our relationship with overseas scholars. And at the same time, we have more collaborations with many universities around the world. Therefore, we provide several schemes such as matching fund and also community development grants and also research collaboration grants. And we also work with the Indonesian which living overseas, staying overseas. So we work with our Indonesian scholar which working in United Kingdom and Australia intensively. Yeah, we do have joint proposal with them as well. And this is several grants that we provide for our internal staff, so that most of the grants require collaboration with overseas partners. Yeah, we have several other programs such as postdoctoral programs and also visiting fellow. Now we do have two types of program, online and offline, for postdoctoral programs. Yeah, so for this one, Airlangga Global Research Initiative is giving training for the staff to be aware with international grants activities, and we provide several, we collect many information from many partners about the research grant opportunities from overseas. Yeah, and we do digitalization to increase the effectiveness of the communication and also the discussions. Yeah. Yeah. This is our international partners. We have 249 partnerships and with 172 institutions within 38 countries. Yeah. Feel free to reach us if you have any ideas that might be collaborated with Universitas Airlangga, and we welcome any types of collaborations. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Harimawan. It's so impressive about so many strategy, international university branding strategy, and especially that I am particularly interested about the international cooperation matching fund, especially in research. Probably we can share in the future when Taiwan is open, and we are welcome you come back to Tainan. I'm also the alumni of NCKU, and we are welcome you come back to Tainan and also CJCU, okay? And we can visit NCKU together. Okay, thank you again.
Thank you.
Before the next speech, I would like to mention, if you have questions online, we would like to invite you to type those in the chat room of the YouTube, and our colleagues keep those questions very carefully, and will collect and sorting them, and then we will return to those questions during our panel discussion session. Now, we will move on to our next presenter, Dr. Wang Xinxin, the Director of Center for International Relations of University of Technology, Sarawak. I'm missing Cebu. I'm looking forward to come back to visit University of Technology of Sarawak. Let's welcome Dr. Wang Xinxin.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Wu. So I hope to see you again in Cebu. So let me share my slide here. Can you see my slide? Okay. So today, thank you first of all for CSU to invite me to as the panelist for this wonderful webinar. So I'm going to share the topic. The name, the title is Internationalizations of University of Technology Sarawak (UTS) in the era of a global pandemic, strength, weakness, and also strategy. So first of all, I want to actually roughly introduce about our Malaysian pandemics, the history. So actually, we actually totally locked down in March 18, 2020. So after a few months, then our government, the first time they called that lockdown is a movement control order, we call MCO, for a few months. Then later on, government discovered that the pandemic became worse and worse. Then we have a total lockdown from June 2021 until 2020 until the next year in June 2021. Then from June 2021, we call a National Recovery Plan, and until now. But our border only reopened to international visitors only in April this year. So that's why we're facing issues on our international activities. But let me go on to briefly introduce about our university. So among compared to Osaka, Chicago University, and Universitas Erlangga, and maybe other university, CSU, we are the youngest. This year only our nine years, and we celebrate our 10 years next year. But CSU will be going for 30 years. So we are such a young brother amongst universities. We are established in 2013, 1st of April, April Fool, and this is actually fully owned by our state government. So all the funding comes from our state government. So state government decided to have one university that located in the middle of Sarawak. In the past, we have university in the north part and also south part of Sarawak, but in the middle part of Sarawak, we don't have any university. That's why our government decided to actually build and establish one university located in the Cebu, in the heart of the Sarawak. So currently we have actually 6 schools. We call our faculty as schools. So we have School of Foundation Studies, School of Engineering and Technology, School of Built Environment, School of Business and Management, School of Computing and Creative Media, and School of Postgraduate Study. So for foundation study, we receive those students that they pre-U, called pre-U. After 1 year of pre-U, they can continue study in other schools. Then after completed the undergraduate, they can further study for the postgraduate study. At the moment, we have around 40 programs from the School of Foundation Study until the postgraduate study. So even though we are actually young, only 9 years old, we already try to establish as many as possible international collaboration with university throughout the world. So even when we establish in the second year, we start to venture abroad, try to get a contact with international counterpart, because we believe that we need to get in touch with international arena with our international counterpart so that we can learn more from them. Then we can get more experience from them so that we can move further and faster. So at the meantime, we have 31 universities around the world as our counterpart, and most of them actually involved in student exchange and also collaboration in terms of research and development. And at the meantime, we actually try to establish some of the joint degree program with some of the university. and also we have some programs that we actually involved in the grade transfer. I will discuss later on in my discussions. So you can see here we have a university actually not only in Asian, means not only from Indonesia, Brunei, Thailand, but we also got contact from East Asia like Taiwan, China, and also Korea. Then we also move on to UK, Europe, and also even America. So at the meantime, we don't have any collaboration with Japan. Hopefully, we can have a collaboration in the future with Osaka Jogakuin University. And do hope that we also can establish collaboration with Universitas Airlangga and other universities. Okay, so as we are very new, so at the meantime, we only have 1% of international students. Okay, at the meantime, we have 2,000 students. 99% of them means 980 students from Malaysia, and only 1% from the international, means 20 of them. And those students actually come from this country, China, Indonesia, Pakistan, Brunei, Philippines, Malawi, and Myanmar. So we do hope that after the pandemic, we can get more students from more countries, hopefully from Japan, hopefully from other part of the world, that we can actually invite more of them to come and study, experience study in Malaysia. Okay, now I just share the strength of our university. The first one I can say that is our university is actually Green Campus. You can see my background is actually my university, and I believe President of CJCU and Dr. Wu did visit us. Our university, when the government of Sarawak, they want to establish a university, they have the concept of to start the university in a Green Campus status. That's why when we start, even during our construction period, we abide to all the green requirements. That's why during construction, the design stage, we actually manage or obtain the highest platinum index in the Green Building Index in Malaysia. And recently, we also managed to be awarded the Green Building Index for the Green Campus, also for operations. Means during the design stage and construction stage, we will get the platinum index, and after completed, then we also obtain the Green Building Index, platinum index, the highest one for our operations. And we have a lot of facilities to be ensured that we can achieve that. For example, we have a solar panel to generate 5% of our campus electricity. We also have a spatial structures to collect rainwaters for our gardening, for water, water for the air conditioning system, and also for our toilet. We also have a system that embedded in our campus that all the light in our campus will be in automatic mode. Means if there are someone enter into certain spaces, then the light will on. If there's no movement in that particular space, that the light will be dim within 10 minutes. And we also designed that all the glasses in our campus is actually double layers. Then we allow the light actually enter in, but we try to stop the heat to be actually penetrate in, so that this will actually save more than 50% of the energy consumption in your campus. So this is one of our strengths when we try to establish our international collaborations and also try to attract international students. Number two is affordable. At the meantime, if you compare to other universities in Malaysia, our fee is quite affordable. And also our living expenses in Cebu. Cebu is quite a small town in the central region of Sarawak. So normally the living expenses for the students, they can spend around 10 to 15 USD per day. Okay, and if you spend 20, then you can get better food. On average, you can spend only 15 USD for your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So for me, that is very affordable for international students. And the third one is the employability. Okay, our association actually established under this special we call initiative from the government. We call SCO, Sarawak Corridor of Renewable Energy. Our Sarawak government actually established this is in the central region of Sarawak, and under this score, we actually try to attract talents from not only Malaysia but also throughout the world, because to predict that in 2030 we need around 1.6 million of the manpower to support the activities in this score corridor. And this corridor, actually, we have 10 important industry that been developed and highlighted. And also, Sarawak government built, at the moment, we have 3 big hydro dams, and coming soon another dam that to support the energy consumption of all the industry that we highlighted. So we have actually related to all the industry, linked to the industry that involved in this score, and we have signed some agreement with them that our student graduate from UTS will be given priority when they want to get employees. So this will actually ensure that our employability is quite high. Last year, we achieved 90% of the employees within 1 year. This is our strength. But during the pandemic, that we are facing the issue that there are weaknesses. We have 2 quite essential weaknesses. Number one is accessibilities. Being located in Cebu, that we don't have any direct international flight that connecting Cebu with other part of the world. We have to get the students or our partners get through Kuala Lumpur, or they have to get through Kuching, or have to get through KK before they can actually reach Cebu. That actually pull back some of our international students, because they feel that it's quite troublesome for them to fly from their whole country to reach Cebu. This is our, but we just received good news from our government. They are trying to link Cebu to Singapore, hopefully end of this year. If we can have that flight from Singapore to Cebu, then I believe we can attract more international students to study in Cebu in UTS. And number 2 is the branding. So from the presentation of the just now, Dr. Lee from CSU, and also Dr. Harimawan from the University of Airlangga, I noticed that your university actually been ranked in the QS ranking, and also get a lot of recognition internationally. We are regret to say that since we are still young, so we are not being able to actually participate in that ranking, because for the first 10 years, we believe that we focus more on our development in terms of structures, in terms of our core curriculum, and our syllabus and our programs. So we believe that we hope that we can participate in that ranking maybe next year after we achieve our 10-year anniversary. We face this issue because when we keep in touch with some of the international students, the first questions they ask is, what is your ranking in the QS ranking or the Times ranking? So we hardly can actually give them the attractions for them to come to study in UTS. So after we review through that our strength and weaknesses, so we try to come up with strategies to attract international students. So at the meantime, we have 3 important strategies. Number 1 is joint programs. Number 2 is a transfer credit program, and the last one is the online program. So at the meantime, we try to discuss with a few counterparts from the different countries. We try to establish joint programs, and particularly important during the pandemic, because when our country locked down and not receiving any international visitors, we can't actually get students to study physically in Malaysia. So with the joint program, the student may study their first 1 or 2 years program in their own country, then they can complete the rest of the program syllabus in UTS. So that enable them to, even during pandemic times or even some emergency or lockdown, they still can study in their home country, and after that they can continue their study in our country. The second strategy is a credit transfer program. We also have discussed and actually established a few programs with our counterpart in UK in Australia and New Zealand to embark in this transfer credit program. Means both university recognize credit that have been studied in each university. Then later the students have choice to actually transfer credit and further study in our counterpart or in UTS, so that that will actually increase the number of international students to study UTS. The last one is online program. I noticed that just now Dr. Svensson mentioned about they also facing issue that they can't conduct online program. The same problems actually encountered in UTS. When our university apply for the program to our education ministry, they only allow us to actually conduct all the programs in physical mode. So during pandemic, luckily, we grant the temporary permit from our education ministry. They allow us to conduct online program. And at that time, we managed to actually enroll 6 of the international students that who actually study online program, and they have completed the program within that 2 years. That's a postgraduate students. In Mandarin, crisis is actually have 2 words: 危机, crisis, and opportunity. So from there, we learned that actually, even though pandemic is a crisis, but for us, we see at the opposite side that it is one of the opportunities for us to develop our online program. That's why now UTS is actually starting to try to convert our current programs into online mode, and we are actually now submitting documents to our education ministry to get their approval. Hopefully that we can actually offer our online program after the approval. So even though in the future, if anything happen, then we can't offer our physical classes, then we still have option to offer online. I think that's all for my presentation. I have sometimes, and that allow me to share a video about our campus. Is that okay, Dr. Wu?
Yes, no problem.
Okay, I'll start showing first. Okay, start. And I will.
I miss Cebu. Cebu is the heart of Sarawak, and UTS definitely is the heart of Cebu.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, this is our video that actually introduce our university. Can you hear the sound? Can you hear the sound?
No, we don't hear the sound.
Sorry.
Yes?
Now can you hear the sound of the video?
Yes, yes. Yes, we hear the sound.
Okay.
No, right now we don't hear the sound.
Sorry. Just so I can hear the sound from the beginning?
No?
No sound, sorry.
But
I thought you heard the sound from the
yeah,
video.
but how about that? Probably it's the internet problem. How about can you give us the link of the video, and we can share to all our participants?
Okay, sure. Okay. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you,
Okay.
thank
Thank you
you.
for your time. Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for Dr. Wang for wonderful sharing. UTS and CJCU, we are also still a very young university, and we have a very strong partnership. President Lee went to UTS quite often, and he loved to come back to Cebu very soon. And we welcome all our friends. Dr. Poke come to visit us very soon, okay? Thank you. And we will have some questions in the panel discussion, okay? And coming to the next speaker, Now, last but not the last, please welcome Dr. Dang Zhong Quang, the representative from Taiyuan University of Economic and Business Administration, Vietnam. Let's welcome Dr. Dan Zhong Quang. I wish I pronounced it well. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. So, can you hear me clearly?
You can speak louder.
Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, so far it's
right?
good.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. So, first of all, I would like to say thank you for the chance to join this very meaningful webinar. And my name is Kian. You can call me Teng Chung Jian. This is my Chinese name. Yeah, actually, I have been in Taiwan for several years. Yeah, the same with Dr. Imans. I have been graduate from Taiwan too, and I will taken my master degrees and also my PhD degree in Trung Christian University, Trung Yeah. So this is very meaningful for me to have the chance to joining a conference and to have my report with the partner from Taiwan at this time. So on behalf of Taiwan University Business Administration from Vietnam, I would like to present for actually to share our experience during of the pandemic time. So this one, because the report is titled is improve the e-learning qualities at Taiwan University of Economic and Research Administration in context of the global pandemic. So for the contents of my presentation, this will be about introduction, about context and rest of the e-learning, advance of e-learning and solution to improve the qualities of e-learning and conclusion. And as has been said, this one actually is our experience during the pandemic. So maybe some of the experience here is already applied by our speaker here, and so if that is already done by you, so just help me to. Hopefully that we will have some. We will earn some success to have some improvement for our application here. Okay, so now let's move on. So. We all know that we have been sparse for the last 2 or 3 years. We have been experienced a very difficult time. And in which we have been seeing COVID-19 have changed our life and our work and also our education a lot. So the people all across the world have a life-changing encounter with worldwide epidemic during the past 2 years, right? And it seems both of global economies and society. And according to an analysis in April 2020, they said that there's around 1.3 billion children, students, and also lecturers in around 186 nations, according to have been something like to have to up from the real class. And the pandemic have radically transformed the traditional method of the online education, and which we often call today is an e-learning. And the instruction and student are forced to leave the workshop and watch in favor of the frame of computer and smartphone screen. And in which I often said to my student right now, sometimes I don't know whatever that you are looking in your smartphone or you are chatting with your friend, because normally I see them just look all the eye on the iPad from the phone, something like that. And from our school, from Taiwan, Taiwan University Business Administration, we also have our own experience with adapt better in order to adapt with the shift nature of the education environment like this one. So before we move into the content of the further content, we would like to share some of our the context of our school first for you to more understanding and to let you know about the Taiwan. So here is, so in front of you here is a picture of our school, the Taiwan University of Economic and Visualization, and which we often call the Taiwan. So actually in our school we have 8 main majors with a lot of the smaller or specific study. So before the COVID-19 epidemic, our school had around 200 international students. They are from Laos, Cambodia, Philippines, and so on. And uh, unluckily, that when this pandemic started during 2019 and 2020, the majority of our international students have been, they are mostly go home or on the vacation for our Lunar New Year's. And uh, so it's near and after the pandemic outbreak, most of them cannot go back to school. And also with our domestic student, with our Vietnamese student, they cannot go back to school and need to take the course online or from distance. So even through that, the online education has been lost shortly after the pandemic, but majorities, both of the international and domestic students, they cannot go back to study normally. So, and at the same time, the number of new students recruited from this nation is unavailable. So we have been experienced for 2 years very few new international students. Even that now is much better when they sitting back to the normal, but it's for our something like unforgettable period when we hardly to earn the new international student. And the reason to for students moving back home and did not enroll straight back would be because online model training did not satisfy the need. In fact, and regarding to the quality of online education for Vietnamese students, many complain about the quality of training, but it is frequent occurrence throughout all Vietnamese universities. So students have little alternative. So now let's move on. So we know that because of the pandemic, we have been, we often call this a rise of the new types of the education, the rise of the e-learning. So the term e-learning here, actually, the other speaker have been mentioned before, so I will not speak it again. But we have been seeing that many education institutions are interested in developing a digital education platform. Even now, or even within the
We have some.
Excuse me, can you hear me?
Yes. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we have some disconnection. I'm sorry. Yeah, so come back here for doing our story. The e-learning have evolved into the ecosystem for remote learning and training, and it's no longer simply platform storing, backing up, and reviewing information and learning material anymore. So before we only thinking like e-learning is for something like for storing of the data, but now we have been changed our idea. So the task of popularizing and transforming technology used to take up so a decade to implement in order to encourage to students to apply technology to study. So it means that actually in Vietnam we have been our government have been spent a policy around 10 years to making something like digital transformation to move the to make student and lecturer to how I said it, to approach with the using digital in teaching. But it seems that the policy is not successful as expectation. But only after 2 years of the pandemic, it seems that everything has been changed. Now I can say that most of our students and lecturers, they can use the computers, they can use the online and digital material very well. So we often make a joke, wow, yeah, that is the problem, but also the opportunity for us to make the change. So at the same time, we can see that the online learning platforms such as the Zoom, the MSView, and or the platform we are using here in our web seminar, the Webex, are very popular for us at the moment. So we all see the advantage of e-learning, the capacity to retain more material, the ability for students to approach and the saving of the study material, and the online education here have the million students learn necessary as well as prevent missing knowledge in necessary time frame. And learner may rapidly search and pick the knowledge that interests them using this approach rather than spending hours on particular lecture. So actually, uh, based on our experience, we see that some of qualities of the e-learning, some challenging for maintain the quality. So number one, on the learning process, it's much different with the traditional one. Number two is about the quality control. So sometimes we are often asking each other, how can we make sure that our students doing the exam something like fairly, and how can be sure about the quality of the examination, and also about the conscious need of the student. Do they enjoy the show of the lecturer through the online platform or not? So that is all the question we have been raising in our mind during the distance education like that. So in this report, we are using an approach have been a study by the Global FO in 2021, and in which they describe some factors that impact for the e-learning quality. So number one is about quality of instructor. Number two is about the course design, and number three about respond quickly, and lastly about the student expectation. And actually, during my presentation here, we are going to showing some of solutions related to the two in red color here about the course design and respond quickly in order to maintain and encourage for the quality of the e-learning. So number one, the number one solution, that is about the emulator. Number two is about digital platform for practice or the direct connection between the lecturer and student. And lastly, about building an internal e-learning system. So actually, this one is our real experience. Number one is about using emulator, the course design. So as you know, I'm from the Center of the Logistics and E-commerce from our school. So during my lectures with my student in the logistics major, so I often because I know that something like my students right now, they are only facing me from a screen of a laptop or a smartphone. So the problem that how can I attract their attention? So if just something like lecture, something like that said, one side speak and one side of listening is very boring. And some of my students said, if by this way, maybe they are too sleepy. So I try to attract my students by using some kind of emulator or simulator platform, or try to make the lecture like a game. So in this, for example, here in front of you is a program I have been using for my logistic course, calling any logistic PLE. So using this platform, the logistic student, they can using some kind of simulation to something like to set down of the warehouse, to set down of the customer, to state for the producer and so on, to make a kind of supply chain management. And using of this kind of platform, it makes students feeling that, okay, I'm playing a kind of game, and at the same time, I can learn something. And it seems that students enjoy, and they can learn for, it's attract students more, and they can something like to learn easier using platform like this one. And another example here from another course. This is a course for the stock exchange and related to finance. So during our stock exchange course, we encourage students, okay, beside of the flawless deliver in class, I hope that you can go into some of the online platform to make some kind of the simulation transaction. This is just a kind of simulation, not using the real money, in fact. So something like our semester have around 4 months. So I'm giving them a lecture, a mission, an assignment that after 4 months, please report for me your portfolio of investment to see wherever you earn or lose. What is your strategy in investment, and what is your something like market analysis about your targets of investment and so on. So this example, actually, this is my own account, simulation account, and I give it to my student to see that to let them know how to using the online platform to make some transaction. And also in another course something here, it is about the accounting cost. They can using some software to make a kind of practice for something like the customer clearance, like that. And the second one, the second solution about respond quickly. So one of the problems here during of the online learning that student is hardly to have the direct connection or direct talk with the lecturer. Unlike in the traditional education where student in class and lecturer in class, we can easily to get in contact with the student directly and have very quick response. So during of the online class, we are only face-to-face via a screen, right? So it's hardly for students to control for a class with many students attend at the moment. So in us also raising a question, how can respond quickly to the question of the student? So one of the solutions I'm using right now is that the teacher will immediately communicate with students by using some free application or platform, something like Google Docs or Google Classroom like this one. So in front of you here in an example when I'm taking a course with one of the class we calling the high quality or high advanced class. In this class we're using the English for teaching. So we're using the Google Sheet here to create an assignment. So I'm asking students, okay, actually I'm giving you a question in the Google Sheet and Google Docs here, and you need to solve the problem immediately for me. So I can see directly that how is your solution. Do you have any problem when facing with the problem I'm giving you? And I can something like check to giving them modify immediately at the same time. So by using some kinds of application and platform like this one, the student can do the assignment and I can check it at the same time. And it is a kind of respond quickly. And students really feel that, okay, teacher is listening for me and teacher can answer my question very quick. And I don't scare to something like to solve my idea and any problem. So actually students have respond very something like positive about this approach. And also, this is two of my real practice in when I'm delivering my online class. And also, one of the last solution we are suggest right now is that we need to create a type e-learning platform. Actually, I see this one is this one is a suggestion according to my experience when I take my study in Taiwan, because I see that all the Taiwan university right now will have been create a very complete e-learning platform. So in the platform, students can something like to checking for the study material, to saving for the lecture, and also can report and do the assignment online. So, but in fact, in Vietnam, especially in our school right now, the e-learning platform is still very simple and cannot fulfill all the requirements or don't have enough function to fulfill the requirement from both lecturer and student. So this also is one of our targets at this moment to create a better and more complete platform for e-learning. So hopefully that some of you here can in the future can share with us how can you create or what is requirement for an effective e-learning platform. Okay? In conclusion here, we see that traditional way of education has been grabbing this instruction by academic, and e-learning is growing more popular. And e-learning encourages students to study, grades, and discipline, self-absorption, and so on. And we should take a note that even that right now, the COVID-19 seem to be, the situation seem to be much better, and we are trying to be back to the normal. But the e-learning is not end. Actually, we see that the demand for distance education to be rising even more after the pandemic. So something like we already enjoy for distance working. The students already enjoy for distance education. So maybe the need of the distance education, the online and the e-learning to be a kind of new chance for the education. So we need to be prepared and to be something like to make it more competitive, right? And we believe that we now is enter to the era of schooling with the numerous challenges and opportunity. But this will be also the chance for us to move to the next step of development of our education system. So I think that is all for my presentation, and thank you for your attention and have a nice day.
Thank you, Dr. Tan Chong Kwan. We adopt e-learning system in Taiwan for many years, but still in COVID attacking Taiwan, teaching in the digital way is still a new challenge for all the professors and lecturers. And I think right now, teaching online has become a new skill for the all teachers in higher education. Thank you for your sharing. I would like to express our appreciation for the interesting and informative presentation. We learned about the possibility of expanding international cooperation from Osaka Jogakuin University, the variety of strategy and branding buildings from University Erlangen. Meanwhile, UTS represent a young university, shows its ambition and also learning the experience of online course from Taiba, Taiwan University. After all the thought-provoking speech, we would like to have a discussion on some specific topics. And to be better conducting the panel discussion section, please open your camera and remember to unmute while you are sharing. Please do not hesitate to share your thoughts and ideas during the discussion, and we are also welcome our online participants to provide their feedback in YouTube's chat room, and our backstage colors were organized and sold them. Okay, so far we have organized some questions. Let's go for the first one. Did Father Rebecca yet online still?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, thank you. I'm looking forward to see you. When the first time I were in Ateneo, Manila, I still have the Ateneo t-shirt. And I taking pictures you in your souvenir shop. And I was very impressed about your introduction, sharing about actually Ateneo doing a lot of service learning courses. And also you are have a certain many levels of internationalized students in the campus. And you are sharing that during the COVID, actually you are Ateneo provide a very effective learning delivery system. My question will be how to, in Ateneo, how to make sure this digital learning system, the quality assurance, how to conduct to make sure all the new course, the digital course, have good qualities to students, and what is the further strategy in the future? This is the first question to Dr. Roberta. Yeah. Father Roberta.
Thank you very much for the question, and I'd like to say that I was able to visit CJCU for 2 times already, and I enjoyed very much the 2 visits. This was, of course, before the pandemic, and I hope to be able to visit again soon when things are more normal. Thank you for the good questions. First, you mentioned our service learning program, which sometimes even international students participate in. I'm very happy to say that even with the limitations that we were online and virtual, we were still able to conduct some sort of service learning where we try to get in touch with members of local communities using also online. Many people have smartphones and you're able to communicate with them through Zoom or through some certain apps. And we were able still to provide, for example, tutoring to public school, grade school children, elementary school children, by our students and getting to know the leader. So somehow, although it is not ideal, it is really not first best, we were still able to conduct some service learning programs even virtually. So again, we see that now as another tool, another option that we have. But of course, the face-to-face contact, the person-to-person interaction is, of course, still very important, especially for service learning. But we know that there are other ways also we can reach them. Concerning the question about assessment and quality assurance, I think like the other universities who presented, we also struggled with that issue, the question of how do we really try to find ways to evaluate, ways to make sure that they are learning and that we are evaluating our students fairly. And our teachers have been very creative in finding different ways. So changing, for example, like instead of the normal classroom examination where they come, and because that was not possible, so they started to require certain papers instead, or ask people to write paper and then have an oral examination one-on-one with the student, discussing what he or she wrote. So there was really a serious effort to look for other innovative ways. And of course, it's a real challenge because we really we're experimenting a lot, and some work, some do not work. But I share the view that it is quite important that we should be able to maintain the quality of our teaching that is there. So, but I guess also part of our challenge has been connectivity. Sometimes the connectivity is good, sometimes not, and therefore we have gone on the side of leniency, try to be more understanding if it's not if the internet is not so good, etc. But it's been a challenge, and I welcome the sharing of different ways to assure quality during this time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Father Roberto Yap. I believe in this digital world, digitalization learning is a good, very important strategy in the future. But we still have to face the digital inequality problem, and that is also a very. If we can provide the good. Learning experience to students, that is the way we have to conquer. Okay, thank you for that, Father Roberto Yap. And we have question from our Dr. Mingyu Lee, the Dean of Office of Global Engagement, CJCU. She should be here today, actually, okay? And her question would be to Dr. Swenson, Osaka Jagakuin University. Indeed, the mix of in-person study and online learning bring more possibility for internationalization. But if we met them in the same section, hybrid section, sometimes one of them will become a distraction to the other. The question is, can you share good strategy for implementing those two modes in the same section? Dr. Swinson?
Oh, thank you very much for that very insightful question, Dr. Lee. It's something that we've been talking about, and one of the ways that we're thinking might be very useful moving forward with our international programs is pre-departure online for our study abroad programs. So we just got students back from pre-departure programs in Australia, 2 different programs, and in Canada. And one of them was a program in leadership experiences, sending them to do some service learning and sending them also to do some camping in Canada. But one of the things we've learned in our debriefing session, which was just held this week, is they would have liked a little bit more opportunity to contact with their counterparts at their host universities before they left. And so we're thinking that this is where an online plus in-person could really help with the program. And I see this when we start to get our programs going back to Vietnam and Malaysia and perhaps even Bangladesh in the future, and sending students on the more in-depth service learning programs that we had pre-pandemic, that this might be very, very useful if students were able to find a way to connect with the community that they're going to before they arrived. And so this is not something I would have ever thought about in 2019, but as we move into our new world of education, where our connections are much closer because of the pandemic, which is very odd that we have actually found a way to connect to people we might not otherwise reach, because we're taking advantage of the tools that were available, but we weren't using them because we were too busy to learn how. Being forced to learn how, now we get to actually expand the use of those tools in a more relaxed manner rather than scrambling. I think it's going to be a very dynamic future for study abroad programs and international exchanges, both in person and online and hybrid. I think I'm very excited about it as everyone starts to open up, and Japan has opened up now. Taiwan is opening soon. Lunchtime announcements here. I'm going to stop. Thank you.
Indeed, the pandemic is really a crisis, but I think we can together transform those crises into our new new opportunity to the higher education. And the following question is to the Lenga University, Dr. Iman Hariyama. Institutions are increasingly operating in a global market in which quality assurance and assessment are particularly important and very sensitive issues. Global university rankings are worldwide trend that show institutions' internationalization and also reputation to some degree. However, the predominantly quantitative orientation of global university ranking. The question is, will the global university ranking affect the strategy that you are making for the internationalization? Dr. Iman Harimas.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the wonderful questions. Yeah. So basically, we believe ranking is only a part of our effort to show the quality of our university. That's not the end of the goals. Yeah, because our goals is to deliver the impact to the society and also to the regulators, to the students, and all of the important stakeholders. But by using ranking, we can at least have like check and balance on what we do. Yeah, so this is the way how we treat the rankings. But again, after several years focus on ranking, nowadays our leaders in the university, our president, encourage us to focus to measure our impact to the society. That's the main focus for our. We are going back to check about how is our relationship with our students, how is our relationship with our surrounding areas of the university, how is our relationship with the partners. Yeah, we have to show that we can provide benefit for them and we can learn and grow together with them. That's the main things that why we are here now. And also I believe that again, like international accreditation, if you are familiar with the AACSB, for example, in business school, yeah, that's also only part on how we want to make sure that our effort is valuable to our stakeholders. Again, we are trying to increase the visibility by joining the ranking and also the international accreditation, but that's only some part that we are aiming to. I believe the real relationship with the university, that means a lot for our development in the future. Yeah, no matter what is the ranking, but our quality of relationship, that's the most important thing. Thank you.
Ranking is not the target. The main focus of university is the creating value, cooperate with our stakeholders. Thank you for the sharing. And the questions to the UTS. Yeah, most universities are encountering issues attracting more international students, especially UTS, which is a very young university working on building up its reputation. The question is, what are some effective strategies to attracting international students to study or to stay longer in your university or our university? Can you share the practice that are implements in your institution? Dr. Wang Xinxin.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Wu. So from my experience, that actually we're facing issue getting international students. So when I shared just now, I learned that pandemic actually I mentioned just now is actually, even though it's a crisis, but in Mandarin we have 危机 means crisis opportunity. So we discovered that online a program, e-learning can be one of the way to attract international students that study UTS. Because as I mentioned just now, our weaknesses is our location. But if we study online, that is borderless. So we can actually improve our online program in terms of syllabus, in terms of the contents of the syllabus. We made it more attractive and more industrial based. Now I think the industrial based and that is needed, required by industry. So that's why in UTS we have one we call industrial advisory panel. We invite practitioners from industry to actually come and actually visit us and actually give us advice and how can we improve our syllabus more related to the requirement of the industry. Because in the past, I believe there is a lot of big matching about the syllabus and the requirement of the industry. That's why the unemployment rate of graduate actually increased. As I mentioned just now, our employment rate is actually 99% last year, within 1 year. Because I believe that is one of the way that we have our international industry advisory panel, that we try to align our syllabus more towards the requirement of the local industry. So I believe from there, with that and with the online program, we can attract students to our university, and we may arrange maybe 1 or 2 semesters that they actually study physically in our campus. Maybe that will be the final year. And after that, they can actually directly link to the local industry. As I mentioned just now, we have actually established a relationship with a lot of local industry that involved in school. So they will give a priority to our students to work in their industry and their company. So that's how now we move towards that direction, try to get our program be approved by our ministry that we can offer online. In the past, we just can offer a conventional way, means we are not allowed. But during pandemic, we actually give a special permit to conduct online. That's why we managed to get 6 students, for the postgraduate students. And then one more thing is a lot of our postgraduate students, they are actually those working adult. They are actually, they can't actually study physical in the campus. So online program give them a flexible choice to study, and that can be one of the way for, not for only UTS, maybe for other universities to get more students abroad. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for Dr. Wong. I believe that your great achievement about 99% of employee is because you have a very good connection with local industry sector. And Sarawak corridor of renewable energy is right now a very important energy transition to the world, to the low carbon transition globally in response to climate change issue. So I think there is a very good opportunity, and I believe you will use this advantage to have more international students in the very near future. Okay, and the questions, okay, our questions to Dr. Dang Zhong Quinn. I know you're sharing the e-learning platform today, and I would like to ask you, some of our question is, because like CJCU, we are right now trying to have more medium of instruction EMI program supporting the international students. English as a EMI program has changing higher education enormously and is able to attract excellent international students. Can you share some of your experience in Taiwan University by using e-learning and EMI course, have some more EMI courses in Taiwan University? Dr. Dan Zhong Quinn.
Yeah, you can call me Kian.
Kian.
Yeah, Dan Chung Kian. Yeah, actually. Yeah. So thanks for your question. So related to the EMI and about the e-learning course. So actually right now, number one, our school, we try to create a kind of database for e-learning for all the coursework. So in which we encourage the lecturer to record all of the lecturer to make a kind of video or clip, so for students to learn first. And we encourage that students can beside of study online, they can also join going to the e-learning platform to download and to watch again the lecture clip. And because we know that study from distance sometimes a little bit hard to deliver all of the content at one time. So we asking the student, so could you please stay at home and watching again the lecturers. And if there are any points that you believe you are missing, or some points that you are not very clear during the online class, you can take the chance to review again via the video, something like that. And also, during the EMI class, we encourage the student to solving some kind of case study and some kinds of self-studying assignment, something like that. So indeed, the student can spend their own time at home to have their own work, and they will not feel something like, okay, I'm not in class, so I don't have anything to do, so I just at home and I can do whatever I want. So we try to find another solution rather than, and we try to find another way to deliver the assignment and also to create some calling a kind of new task for students. Even that if they stay at home, they need to have something to continue to work. So they will not something like free to do anything. So, and also, for example here, as we often asking for our partners from foreigners school to have kind of to deliver their lecturer via online class too. So, for example, we asking for example, okay, we asking for Jiangsu University lecturer. Could you please to join some of our meeting and deliver some of speech to our student here, so that maybe student will feel okay, it's still a little bit interesting, rather than only looking at a very old face, something like us every day. So That is some of solution we are doing right now to make our online course to be more attractive. And so on for the other method, I think all the lecturer here, all the expert here, they already know. Okay, so that's my question, my answer. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Kiang. Still, we have some questions also about the EMI. Question from our participants. This question is to all the all panelists. Could we build a network of EMI online courses to be shared by all participating university, like an Ivy language? Each participating university offer 1 to 2 online courses, all in English, letting students from each university take one. Will we develop a vision based on today's conference? I think yes, and I want to listen to the panelists sharing. With Father Roberta first.
Sorry, can you repeat the question again? Sorry.
Could we build a network of EMI online course together? Our partnership university that will build a EMI online course together. Each university could share 1 or 2 courses and share to all, like we build our EMI platform for international students. Yeah.
Yes, certainly. I think we, at least in the Philippines, we struggled for establishing, going fully online and virtual. But then we also discovered that there are really many opportunities that will make it easier, as our colleague from Japan said, that there are people that we can reach that we knew that we did not think we could reach easily, but now we can. And I think the real opportunity now is really to really create these common courses that we can take together. And as I mentioned, I tried to share, we are developing, for example, a course on global citizenship with other universities all over the world. And what we have done is, for example, like Georgetown University is preparing the course materials, and then we're sharing it with other universities who want to participate. They study it on site locally, but at a certain point, we will ask the students to interact with each other, especially on this course on global citizenship. And it covers all sorts of things, from political to environmental to economic, etc. So it is very possible, and I think it's one of the exciting possibilities that I hope we can pursue as a network together with other partner universities, including Ateneo and CJCU and the other universities here. Thank you very much.
Yes, I believe we could build up a network to do so. And we can have, after this webinar, probably our Office of Global Engagement, we will launch a platform, try to discuss with each university, probably we can develop a EMI platform or EMI network for our partnership. Thank you, thank you. And in the end of the webinar, we have our last question. The world is likely going into the post-pandemic era. As most countries' governments are lifting lockdowns, students or faculty mobility will be easier and more common in the following days. We are looking forward to see that. Please share the institutional strategy for internationalization in the post-pandemic era, and also give a brief introduction of the national policy related to the pandemic. We start from Philippines. How about Father? We start from Philippines. Roberta, yep.
Oh, okay. Yes, I thought there was a finish. So can you repeat?
Oh, okay. Because we are facing the post-pandemic era. Okay, so in the post-pandemic era, how about the new internationalization strategy? And also, please introduce a little bit right now current situation about your national Philippine situation or Philippine policy related to the pandemic.
Yes, thank you. Certainly the country is still, we still have a good number of cases, but we're starting to move and really treat it as we are living with the virus, trying to shift to that and not really pursue a zero COVID policy, which is quite difficult. So that has allowed us to really come back already on campus and have most of our classes be face-to-face and in person. I think we realized that, that's really the first best. It is a good way and the good way to really conduct. Campus life is important to our students, and of course the interaction, the face-to-face interaction is also very important. But as we said, that we also realized that the digital technologies have really opened the possibilities of being able to pursue other ways in supplement, complementary to the face-to-face in person. And the task right now is what we call looking for hybrid, blended ways to blend together how we can do face-to-face in person and with supplemented by other online activities, whether you do it synchronously or asynchronously. We are really seeing that we should not also let go of the benefits that the digital technology has allowed us for all aspects of our academic life, both in teaching, in learning, in research, in service learning activities and outreach that we try to do. So that's what we're doing, and in some sense, it's a very exciting time. It also allows us to really reach more people because of the technology. So yes, we are coming back face-to-face, and we are trying to live with the virus as best as we can, and hopefully it becomes less of a threat to us. But also we are exploring other ways to deliver education in a more creative, innovative way. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Father Roberto. And the question sharing from Japan?
Yes, thank you. Good question. In Japan, we never fully shut down. Schools would go online or not based on conditions at the school. And I think Japan has reached a point where we are in the endemic stage. COVID is here. We're going to live with it. We're going to live with its repercussions, and it's going to continue to be with us, well, forever. That's okay. We'll deal with it. But I think that what we've really learned from this COVID period, from the pandemic period, is that education is not based within a border. That you are not stuck on campus or stuck in your city or stuck in your country. You've actually got access to the entire world, even if you are at home. And this has really been, I think, a big shift in both how faculty and students are viewing education. At the beginning of the pandemic, they were very reluctant to participate in online forums, in online classes. But now, students are out there and the faculty is out there. We understand the technology better. We have a better idea of how to use it. And I think we can transfer that knowledge into a far more dynamic world that's finding solutions to some of the major issues that our students are going to face in their lifetimes. I think that what CJCU is doing with its environmental studies program is fantastic. I know that our English language education skills and Jogakuin, Osaka Jogakuin is renowned in Japan for being an English medium instruction school and has been since the late 1980s. And so our abilities to help our partner institutions to improve their English medium instruction I think could be very beneficial. We have a lot of strength in our international programs and we call it international collaboration,
Yes.
but it really means international service. And I think we could all help each other very much through the Akuka network or other networks to create dynamic lectures that students in many different countries could participate in. Within Osaka City itself, we have an Osaka consortium that does that within the Osaka universities. It's just a step to a broader platform to have it be an Akuka member organizational classroom where students could participate, and that might be a really good forum for us to work in. It's something worth exploring. I think it's a great idea.
Thank you. It's really well because it's more easy right now to access to the world, and we are looking forward that especially the EMI cooperation in the near future. Thank you for Dr. Swinson. And the aspect, the sharing from Indonesia.
Thank you so much for the questions. Yeah, I think agility is one of the principles that we need to to keep in mind, because the adaptability for each university is different, their characteristic is different, and we need to be more flexible in order to maintain the relationship with others. Yeah, not only the university strategy is changing, but also the behavior of the lecturer and also the students. And the challenge is actually is that to convince the internal staff, especially, to able to be more adaptable with any type of changing of the teaching mode or any other activities. For our strategy now, as I've mentioned a little bit before, that we focus on engage with many partners, in one activity, not only one-to-one, activity for one-to-one university, but one-to-many universities. That we encourage our staff to be engaged with them, because we will learn faster from many of our friends. If we have more friends. That's the main strategy for us to be adaptable with. But again, we still refer to our main goals to deliver the impact to the stakeholders. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. I think, our friends, if we can, each university have our own strength, and we can, by using digital tools to strengthen the communication and cooperation. And I think friendship will promoting those cooperation and also international branding together. We can grow up together. Thank you for the sharing. And Dr. Malaysia, Dr. Wang Shenshen.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Wu. Yes, now I just shared that Malaysia now is under we call National Recovery Plan, recovery stage. And as mentioned by Father Rito, we actually also go towards endemic. We actually want to live with the virus. We cannot actually eliminate the virus from our life. And then in the past, actually, pandemic taught us that in the past we tend to be like one-to-one, as Dr. Hari Mawan said. We hardly can thought that we can one-to-many or many-to-many, because in the past our activity is actually physical activities. We only can meet one university at one time. So not like today, after the pandemic, we learned that actually we have a platform that can link everyone together on one platform. And that's why actually now our government also encouraged us to form consortium with a lot of university, okay, that share the same interests, share the same objective, share the same visions, that we can work together. And I believe that one person we can move faster, but together we've moved longer time forever. So that's why I believe that if we can collaborate together, we share our strengths, we learn together, we can move further, even though not faster, but can further and last for longer, rather than I move alone that I might last only for a few years. So I do hope that after this webinar, we can establish some collaboration with all the partners here, that we can move further. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Together we can make it, and together we can work longer. Yeah, thank you. And sharing from Vietnam.
Yeah, thank you for your question. So actually, the same with Malaysia. Right now, Vietnam, we are moving to the new state, and what here in local we call it is the new normal state. So in which we try to back all of our activity to the normal. And we already opened our border and welcome all the tourism and also with the foreigner students back to the school here in Vietnam. And in order to controlling for a new outbreak of the pandemic, so we try to maintain some of the a little bit strictly regulation within the school area. Something like we require all students need to take the vaccination. So in which most of our students right now, they already have 3 or 4 doses of the vaccination. And most of the vaccine is from Pfizer or Moderna from the US. And also, we try to maintain the number of students within the class. Not too many students within one class in order to keep something like keep the distance also. And also, we are regularly have a random check for the health of students and to have something like to test for wherever that there are a new case or there are too many cases in the school. But still, we are the same here with the sharing from from Malaysia here. We try to something like to live with the virus. We cannot something like to ignore it anymore. We believe that. I can say that this moment it seems that we are really back to the new normal because most of the things seem to be not very different with the time before the pandemic anymore. Yeah, seriously. And still, we hopefully that we can have a new and further cooperative with the other education institution and also with the enterprise. And one of the example here at this moment, our school are doing some of the cooperation with the business firm, in which we suggest them to have to create some kind of simulation platform to make a kind of not only for distance study but also for the real class study too. So in which we believe that this way is one of the solutions for us for the new education era and so on. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for all the participants. Okay, I think we have some more agreement, cooperate together, and networking is very important in the future, especially in the post-pandemic area. I'm looking forward to see all of you from each university. Welcome to CJCU. In the end, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to you once more for coming together at such a difficult time to reflect on the future of the education. CJCU will continue to develop a bright and sustainable future together with our partner schools through our institution and vitality. Last, we have good news for you that we would like to invite all our partner university to participate in the partner School President Forum organized by CJCU next year to celebrate our 30 years anniversary. We sincerely hope you can attend. Thank you and let us meet next year. Thank you again. Thank you. We've done such wonderful webinar together online, but we can see each other. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. 非常感谢。
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Excellencies, distinguished guests, participants, ladies and gentlemen, we have had a productive and inspiring time together. And this event is about to come to the very end. I hope you found the presentations at this conference informative and helpful. Thank you very much. And before we part, if you haven't signed in for the webinar, please click the link on the top of the chat room, and also click the link in the chat room for the questionnaire. It is our great honor to have you here today. Wish all of us safe and see you soon in the future. Thank you and goodbye.
And goodbye. Thank you.
Bye. 再见 goodbye
再见，再见。Thank you. Next time I will wear the Ateneo t-shirt, taking picture with the Father Roberto. Thank you. Looking forward to seeing you very soon. Thank you. Welcome to Taiwan. Welcome to Tainan very soon. Bye. Bye.